All right, y'all. It's a Monday night. It's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Tonight, we're going to talk about the rise of the Hispanic conservative. Let's get to it. This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com.
NASCAR. Do you like a Tribe Called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you'd love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Hey, buddy, if your car making a sound like this, you might want to get you some power steering fluid and check out the Urban Conservative Podcast.
Are you repulsed by the idea of drag queen story time at your local library, but enjoy Carol Baskin TikTok memes? Then you would enjoy the Urban Conservative.
Doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Monday night, you tapped in with the Urban Conservative, the TUC Twins, right here on YouTube, Facebook, and or wherever the heck else you watch and listen to your podcast. First and foremost, hit that like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let us know where you listen to podcasts that we may not be. Get in the comment section. Let us know that. Also, drop a line. Let us know where you watch it from. Shout out your county, your city, your state, all that good stuff. And do remember the website is tuconservative.com. That is where you can go to support all things TUC Twins. That is where you can go to get yourself a work privilege mug and or t-shirt, because around these parts, we believe in hard work and the privilege to get you a job, sir or ma'am. And I'm not doing any other things, because it was just, I just saw something like 2 days ago, and the dude just rambled on and on with the titles. He was like, ma'am, sir, zer, zim, zap. I was just like,
Yo, it was a meeting. I think it was like a Microsoft meeting or the
yo, he rambled it off. It was insane. I was
like,
just like,
I'm a non-binary, cisgendered, multiple spirit animal pleasure group. It's like wow,
wow.
Can we just be John? Can you just say my name is John? How about that?
I'll miss ma'am and sir. I really genuinely miss ma'am and sir, or mister. I miss those days. But shouts out to all our supporters. Make sure you stop by the website. tuconservative.com is the place to be. And you know, we're in campaign season. So do I do the shameless plug for you running, or what do we do? Because you look like you dressed for something. You look like you're just coming straight from something.
I gotta give Dr. John and Camille Nixon a massive shout out. They just hosted a meet and greet for me at their lovely home in Charlotte. Really appreciate it. A lot of folks came through, a lot of great questions, earning the support of voters. Really, one voter, one conversation at a time, bro. So yeah.
But I gotta say, before you bring the guest on, I feel like I want you to have like a WWE wrestling moment and just start tearing the suit and tie off. I don't know why I feel like that right now, but that's just what I feel like. But
hey, not for nothing. I got my Trump Pence 2020 t-shirt on underneath this. So there you go. Yeah, rocking Superman status. But yo, I am excited about tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see by the title, we've got a very special guest tonight. We're going to be talking about the rise of Hispanic conservatives, Latino and Hispanic conservatives. With us is the interim director of the Republican Hispanic National Assembly here in North Carolina for the first time on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sandy Moyer to the show. Sandy, welcome to the Urban Conservative. Glad you could make it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Excellent, excellent. So tonight's subject matter, near and dear to us. I don't know if we shared this with you offline, but we got some Puerto Rican in our blood. Mom Duke's side of the family's from Puerto Rico. So near and dear subject to us. But first and foremost, so the audience could get to know you a little bit. Tell us about you. Where'd you come from? Background, all that good stuff. Give us the backstory real fast.
Sure. So I was born in Brooklyn, New York, Lutheran Hospital, 62nd and 3rd. My grandfather came here first, and he bought an apartment building in Sunset Park when Sunset Park was Sunset Park. I was telling Raheem about that. And so my mom came afterwards, and she went to technical college. Anyways, she had us in New York. When I was 8 years old, we moved to Dominican Republic. We were there for 10 years. That's how I picked up the language, picked up the culture, developed a huge appreciation for America, because all the things that we take for granted here were the things that we didn't have access to in DR. Came back to New York at 18 years old, thanking God for running water, running hot water, electricity 24/7. Even the food, the college food to me was good. Like McDonald's, I was like, McDonald's. It's not even good food. But in Dominican Republic, man, when McDonald's first came in, you had to like dress up. It was expensive. So when we got back at 18, I went to college in New York City Technical College for like a year. I had a church I was going to, Hispanic church, ended up being called to a Bible college, met my husband over there, got married. We're in Pennsylvania, have 3 kids, and moved to North Carolina. And here we are.
Nice.
So the McDonald's thing I have to touch on, because I just seen an Instagram picture that a couple got married in McDonald's. It was so nice that, like, when you say y'all had to dress up to go, this couple had a wedding in McDonald's. This was like 40 years ago. And the thing that stuck out to me, there was an ashtray on the table for smoking cigarettes. It just jogged that memory when you said it.
McDonald's silver.
Listen, we had a share burger.
Wow, somebody get the fries, somebody get the burger.
Nice. Right. So Sandy, look, I am very curious. You're working with the RHNA, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the event y'all have coming up in a minute. But national polls with the debate coming up tomorrow, we're starting to see in certain places they're saying Hispanics, Latinos are going more towards the Republican Party. For folks that might not be familiar with the Republican Hispanic National Assembly, tell us a little bit about that, what you guys do, and that whole get up.
So the Republican National Hispanic Assembly was an organization on a national level that was started around the 60s. And it really was a group of Hispanics that wanted to be a part of the political process. And the Republicans were the ones who platformed us. So they got in there, they raised the funds, ended up calling themselves the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, have chapters all over the country in different states. And so the state chapters also have county chapters. So the RNHA is focused on reaching the Hispanic demographic. We look at ourselves as an arm of the Republican Party to reach the Hispanics, get them involved in the political process, train some of them, get them running for office if need be. Also, as far as longevity, we're trying to get, also, we have the Constitution in Spanish. We want Hispanics to understand not just local policy, but how America runs. Because when you understand the history of America, which was what made a difference for me in my life, actually, when I moved here from Dominican Republic, obviously I studied world history and Dominican history, and I understood the benefits, man. When I came to the U.S., I was thankful for all the benefits that I could partake in as an American. I didn't understand the responsibilities until I started teaching my kids, because I homeschooled my children for about 10 plus years, until I started teaching my kids history. And when I realized, hey, this thing doesn't run on its own, like we have a duty to maintain this, that's when I realized, okay, we're supposed to be a part of this process. And that's what we want to be able to translate and transmit to Hispanics who tend to come here. And it's very hard because you're coming from countries that are very oppressive, authoritarian regimes. You come to America and you just want to make a go for it for your family. You don't want to have to worry about the political process. All of that was very oppressive. You think, well, I mean, this is a different type of government. There's freedom here. So people think, oh, it must be different than where I came from. And they don't engage like they should, not understanding that it could become what you came from. Like it could absolutely become a Venezuela. It could absolutely become what's going on in Chile, that just recently they have now a leftist over there, what's going on in Brazil. All these countries were free countries. And now all of a sudden they're being, ruled by authoritarians. So when I understood the responsibility of being an American, and really that clicked with me after Trump lost the election in 2020, I was, and I kept thinking, to GOP, my local GOP.
Right.
I met Sandy Smith. She took me to the one of the conventions here. And I was like, where are the Hispanics? I was looking around. I was like, I didn't see any Hispanics. Where are they? And so that's when they said, hey, there is actually a guy, Omar was there, who is part of the RNHA. You might want to meet him.
Omar Lugo.
He's a great guy. Omar Lugo introduced me to Charles Lopez, and Charles was like, you need to be a part of the executive. I'm like, oh, I just want to help. And so it really was Charles' insistence that got me part of the executive board, and the rest has been history. I loved what the organization stands for. I love the passion. Eduardo has done an excellent job. Right now, he's NCGOP political director, so he's not able to be a part of it, but he's done a tremendous job. We have a great executive board. Juan Pleites, Manny, Cecilia. So we all work in tandem to try to get this across, and we have chapters now. We've tripled the amount of chapters that we started with. So the message is, catching on fire. A lot of GOP local chairs are engaging. We've had a tremendous amount of support from the NCGOP, and the Hispanic voters in play, and people are aware of that now.
So I gotta hold on, Rob. Before you do that, I gotta give a massive shout out to Charles Lopez, the bro. Right. Matt, gotta show Charles Lopez is the guy. So if you see this, Charles, I'm saying it publicly. You're the guy, bro. Hefe in the building. What was you gonna say, bro?
I just had to shamelessly plug this new article that the RNHA has up there, written by yours truly. Just had to plug that. just had to plug that.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are rocking on the Monday Night Urban Conservative Podcast. We are talking with Sandy Moyer with the Republican Hispanic National Assembly, talking about the rise of Hispanic conservatives. We want to talk a little bit about North Carolina, some upcoming events right after this quick commercial break. Give us a like, share, follow, subscribe. We'll be right back. When those who are in our country illegally cast a ballot, it takes the power of your vote away. Visit onlycitizens.vote to find out how you can contact your legislature and get them to pass a citizens-only voting amendment. Again, visit onlycitizens.vote and defend your right to vote.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you tapped into the Urban Conservative Podcast. Shouts out to all of the folks who support American citizens voting only. That is a big deal. We've been saying this for a long time, that the goal of this flood at our southern border and at our borders in general has been about the left creating a new voter base that the agenda to push votes, non-citizens voting, even counting them in the census and things of that nature. So shouts out to that whole group. There's some ballot initiatives, right, that are going to be on the ballot. So we need to make
in North
sure
Carolina, you need to make sure on your you finishing your ballot, first of all, that you go from president to governor, attorney general, all that stuff. But you need to vote yes on the constitutional amendment to change our state constitution to say the word only United States citizens should be voting. So yes, that is a thing. Now, Sandy, we've been seeing the polls, and they're saying, more and more Hispanics and Latino voters seem to be going towards the Republican Party and gravitating towards Donald Trump. What do you think is the major factor behind that shift that we're seeing for more Hispanics and, coming the conservative way? What do you think is driving that?
I think there's a couple of things. Number one is the economy. I mean, a lot of Latinos, they come here, they're small business owners, they're feeling the pain, and the American dream is to own a home. And the fact that right now the housing market is super high, people are renting right now. That's not what they came for. That's not what they were dreaming when they came to America. And so the economy is number one. I think number two, Donald Trump did an amazing job when he ran in 2016. He opened the platform up. He did, with the Hispanics and the Blacks. And he gained a percentage of, I think it was 38% in 2020. I think he's gonna gain even more than that this coming election. But he opened up the platform to have conversations. And our platform has always been a platform that connects with the Hispanic community because it's a conservative message. I'm a Christian. I am a conservative because the conservative platform aligns with my worldview, right? Most Hispanics, God, country, family, right? They're very conservative. And so the issue that we were having before is why then are we not connecting with the Hispanic community? A lot of it was messaging. So that sort of got blown up when Trump ran, and in 2020 even more so. And the Republican Party has definitely, I wouldn't say they have shifted. They've kept their platform, but they've been more proactive about reaching out to these minority communities. So when you're talking to Hispanics, and I actually did this, I told the story. This is a true story. I was able to flip a Hispanic lady in Burlington. We were at the store from Democrat to Republican by just showing her the platforms. All I said was like, "Hey, this is what the Democrat platform stands for. Do you agree with, are you pro-abortion? Are you for, shoving these LGBTQ issues into our kids in the public schools, not concerning ourselves with academics, which should be priority? Are you okay with this mindset of, individuality is not prized and cherished? It's not pro small business. You're talking about taxation of the wazoo. So are you okay with all these? No, not at all, not at all. I was like, okay, well then you're a Republican. The Republican platform is pro small business. The Republican platform is obviously the platform that's pro family. You saw in the North Carolina legislature, which I'm so proud, even recently, they opened up pro education, by the way. They opened up the opportunity scholarships for any income. Like it used to be that you had to have a certain income to apply. Now any income is eligible to apply for the opportunity scholarships, which is what should be. That's fair. The left constantly complains about I'm like, we're fair, and you're still finding fault with that. So the opportunity scholarships are huge. You're talking about the parental bill of rights, which gives that autonomy back to the parents. Parents, especially in the Hispanic community, parents are very zealous about how they run their homes. They don't want the government to come in and tell them how they get to raise their children. That's the Republican platform aligns with that mindset. It values parental autonomy. It values religious liberty. That's another huge thing that a lot of Hispanics, a huge percentage is Catholic, huge percentage is evangelical. They want to be able to have the freedom to go and teach their kids and not have to feel fear that I'm going to, be reported in the public school because my kid. So all these things are things that the Republican platform stands on. And I think that now they're connecting that message. They're realizing, wow, I had a guy, we were out door knocking the other day. He was apologizing because he voted for Biden. He's like, I'm sorry, guys, I voted for Biden last election cycle. I had no idea. I was wrong. I'm voting for Trump now, because people started seeing what was happening. So the economy was huge. Crime rates have risen tremendously. And unlike what the left thinks, they think that we only care about immigration when it comes to legalizing immigrants. We care about the crime that's coming through the border. All right. We care about the surge in fentanyl. I think it was like a crazy amount of fentanyl that's coming across the border. Human trafficking that's coming across the border. I mean, you saw in the Bronx where Trump had a huge amount of support from a lot of Latinos out there, because New York City is a sanctuary city. You've got 8,000 plus illegal immigrants. I'm sure that number is way higher, draining the system, where all of these helps would be going to minority communities and the working class American. And they're realizing like, hey, this is not helping us. Here I am working. Where are my tax dollars going? So yeah, it's an issue in the sense that, hey, they don't want other people coming in here that just got here and are now trying to get plugged into the system. When you have people that have been working their entire life and they're not getting a $250,000, a bonus toward a mortgage, like the one couple, I think it was a Venezuelan couple. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not against immigrants.
Right.
We're against illegal immigration. Like, if you're going to do things right. In Dominican Republic, there's a wall between Haiti and Dominican Republic. Okay, because we had an issue happening where we had some of the Haitians coming in and doing the same thing, and Dominicans realized, hey, like you've got to have laws. That's how a country remains sovereign. And so I think a lot of Hispanics, they do resonate with that message. I've had people that have come up to me and they say, hey, I can't vote, but I agree with what you're saying. And I will tell my coworkers and I will tell my family members, these are people that are not even here legally that are saying this. I had somebody who's a resident who said, if I get deported, I'll get deported, but I'd rather my kids have a safe place, because they know, if they need to apply, go the right way, they can come back. But what they don't want to do is lose what they've already acquired in this country and it turn into what they left. So yeah, the immigration issue is way more nuanced than people might get look, or the left makes it look. Yeah, is it something that needs to be addressed? I agree that there's a lot of things that need to be addressed with the immigration system, but we care about the crime that's coming through the border. We care about this influx of criminals and gang members that are coming through the border.
So I just did an NPR interview here in Charlotte, and they, the left is doing this scare tactic thing where they're like, if Trump gets elected, he's going to deport every single immigrant. And I'm like, no, we're talking about violent criminals.
Yep.
And it's bizarre when you see people voting against something like deporting illegals who assault police officers. Like, you had so many people vote against that, Democrats primarily, and it doesn't make sense. Rob, what you got?
They're only here for asylum.
I know it. They only want asylum.
It's one asylum. That's all they want is asylum. I just rings in my head. And the fact of the matter is, and shouts out to Paul Rodriguez. The reality of it is this to me. Maybe I'm wrong, and you guys can adjust my thinking here on this. But if you have a sudden drop or decrease in crime in a country, and say Venezuela, the crime is, I heard, almost non-existent now, and the jails are empty. I wonder where they all went. I just kind of wondering where everybody went. So why is it that the left, or it seems like the people on the left, don't understand that? Like, there's a disconnect between that reality and the facts on the ground here, especially for border states, which, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of these are Hispanic communities that are being invaded.
Yeah.
And a lot, yeah.
And I think sometimes too, I want to say this, I want to interject this. Sometimes the immigration issue is framed as just addressing one demographic, like a Latino issue. I mean, we're talking about Haitians coming through the border. We're talking about Chinese nationals coming through the border. We're talking about Middle Easterners coming through the border. And sometimes I feel like maybe it is convenient to talk about it from just a certain demographic, because people are not paying attention to this other stuff that's coming in. And so, oh yeah, and by the way, it would be easy to frame it that way because we look like we're a mixed bunch. So we look like Middle Eastern. You know what I'm saying? So it's very easy to peg a certain kind of way. But to your point, yeah, the illegal immigration is a big problem. And I think the reason why the Democrats don't want to, somebody said they made a good point. They said when somebody has dug their heels on an issue that is more emotional than anything else, and they've been shown the truth, the reason why they'll still stick to their guns, it's pride. It's almost like, if I accept the fact that I was part of the problem and I created the situation, then there are a whole list of things that I open myself up to that I'm not ready or comfortable to accept. So I just rather I'll burn that bridge if I have to. I don't care if Trump, like, they would rather see it burn than accept accountability for the ridiculous policies that they have a lot. And that's what we're dealing with. It's kind of scary when you think about it. We're dealing with a group of people that would rather see the country burn than get Trump elected, because there really is no coherent reason. It's all emotional. I'm like, guys, let's talk about policy. Every time I talk to somebody who's kind of like on the fence, well, Trump is a racist. Well, and you get that from a lot of minority groups, and even the white lady, by the way. And I tell them, okay, because you're not going to win that argument. They're going to keep, it doesn't matter how many factual things you present about how that Trump is not a racist. Let's talk about policy. They can't debate you on that. Let's what Trump did when he was president. Let's talk about how he had the opportunity zones, by the way, that benefits minority communities. Okay, you're talking about investors coming into these poor neighborhoods and being able to have a tax break for investing, and it has been very successful. Let's talk about how he was the one who funded, and you guys know this. I'm speaking to the choir, but he funded the HBCUs. Let's talk about how he pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal. By the way, I went to Washington to protest that one. That was a huge one. And we're having a big issue right now in the Middle East because that was reinstated by the Biden administration. Huge problem right now. So we're not talking about the wars that are now being started in the Middle East. I mean, all of that is kept hush-hush. They're not talking about what's happening in Venezuela right now. That Maduro is going after his opponents. He's going after and he lost. We're not going to talk about what communism does to a country. We're not going to talk about all the failed policies and how we're seeing all of the consequences of him withdrawing from Afghanistan. We have a huge mess right now in the Middle East. But we're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about how Trump is racist. And, that stokes people's emotions because, unfortunately, you're talking about, if you talk about the root of the problem, it starts at home, and then you talk about the schools. What are the schools doing? If you're telling me that in North Carolina, 50%, it's 50%, it's like around 50% in elementary and middle school are able to read and write and do math. And high school, by the way, it's the same. And math is even lower, okay? What is it what are we spending our time doing in the public school system? But then we have all this other time to teach these kids. And there's a lot of great teachers and principals in the public school system. I'm just telling you, if that is an issue when it comes, academics are an issue, what are we doing to improve that? Why are we having this other conversation, unnecessary conversation? You're talking about the different sexualities. I had no idea what Two-Spirit was until I realized there was a group that was a liaison to one of the LGBTQ movements here in Greenville, who was trying to train some of the principals and administrators in some of this lingo. I'm talking from kindergarten to 12th grade. Why? I don't even know what that is. Can we focus on what's important? And that's what Republicans are trying to do. So when we have those conversations with a lot of these Hispanics, again, you have that conversation with Democrats, I think some of them are starting to wake up. I mean, I was very proud of what RFK did. He could have dropped out of the race and said, yeah, it doesn't matter. He decided to join arms with Trump, and that was a huge, that was very bold move. And the fact that he's not just joining, he's actively and practically wanting to help. I have a lot of respect. So there's that group of Democrats that realize, hey guys, we got a country to save. It just makes sense to have this guy in office. We've seen what these other policies, these leftist policies, we're seeing what it's producing. You have some of the most progressive people leaving California because the progressive policies in California are way too progressive for them. Yeah, right. So we're in a mess, but hopefully this election cycle we can turn around.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with Sandy Moyer with the Republican National Hispanic Assembly here in North Carolina. We're going to take a very quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about a very special upcoming event this coming Saturday. We're going to plug that. And I got a quick surprise for the folks. You had an opportunity to speak at a Trump rally. I'm going to share that with y'all on this side, other side of this quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on the Urban Conservative Podcast.
And I'm running for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte as a Republican this November. We know that the Democrat machine controls Charlotte, but a common sense Republican like me can win if we can get our message out to the voters. If you're like me and fed up with deep state career politicians like Alma Adams and Joe Biden, help me send a message that their time is up. I've done something by running for Congress. Now I need you to do something. Visit aliforcongress.com. Make a contribution. Together, we can make America better. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Urban Conservative Podcast on this beautiful Monday evening. So, bro, go ahead. Events.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the State Secretary of the Republican National Hispanic Assembly of North Carolina, Sandy Moyer.
Hi, Wilmington. What a privilege and honor to be with you here today. We are all here to support the greatest president of our time, Donald J. Trump. I'm a very grateful second-generation immigrant and a very proud first-generation American. I have always been proud of my American and Latino heritage. The heritage of faith, freedom, and family. These values are shared, and these values are cherished in the Latino community. The left has lied to Latinos. They treat us like second-class citizens. They tell us that this country's founding and values are by nature hostile toward us, that the law somehow doesn't apply to us because somehow we're too incapable to understand simple instructions like providing a voter ID to vote. What we can't achieve with our own merit, that somehow we need their help, that somehow we need them to come in and step in and rescue us. I'm here to say that we don't need you to rescue us. We don't want your handouts. You know what we want? We want a secure border, that you leave our children alone, that you stop using us as props to push your racist, anti-American, socialist agenda. We are not victims. I am not a victim. My mother came to America legally in her early 20s. She worked hard. She learned the language rather quickly and graduated from an academic institution. She never forgot where she came from, but she taught us what a blessing and a privilege it was to be an American. Later on in life, I understood the responsibilities of being an American. That's why I joined the RNHA. We wanted Latinos to know there's a place for them in the Republican Party. There's a platform for Latinos who love this country. There's a platform for Latinos who believe in a strong work ethic. There's a platform for Latinos who respect the rule of law in this country and respect the immigration policies that are there to protect its citizens. There's a platform for Latinos who see right through the lies of the left. We know the left are the ones peddling racism and supremacy. We know who you are. We know your antics, and we reject your shackling ideals and policy. This November, we're voting Trump. He will secure our borders. He will uphold and protect our Constitution. He will reestablish our military might and economic dominance on the world stage. Most importantly, he will protect our religious freedom. We left our countries for greater opportunity, for safety, for a better future for our families, all things that the left and the Biden administration is tirelessly working to destroy. We left behind corrupt regimes, and we will not stand to watch America turn into what we left. That's why we need Donald J. Trump. Lastly, but most importantly, God is the one who has the power to turn this ship around. And we must turn to him. America, remember your beginnings. The founding fathers understood that God rules in the affairs of men. Seek him, seek his favor, seek his mercy, and pray for protection for President Trump. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless President Trump.
Lovely speech.
I need my sound effects panel. I keep saying I'm gonna order my sound effects panel. I gotta get one. You know, and when I hear you talk, sometimes I hear the Brooklyn come out. There's certain phrases I hear Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was asked in college, hey, can you say coffee? And I would say coffee. You don't say coffee? But then the other day I was talking to somebody, I said Staten Island. I was like, oh yeah, it comes out here and there. So.
It comes out. Rob, pull up the event. I want to talk about this event real quick on the tail end here. Ladies and gentlemen, this coming Saturday, September the 14th, it is going down at 1100 Central Avenue in Charlotte, the Trump Force 47 and Mecklenburg GOP headquarters. A fundraiser to support the RHNA is going down in Charlotte. You can get your tickets to that. And before we let Sandy get the stage to plug away and let people know how and where they can get them tickets.
You gotta win the plug. You
gotta win the plug. It's time for the famous lightning round here on the Urban Conservative, ladies and gentlemen.
She wasn't ready.
Time. She's not ready. So, all right, we're going to bring Sandy back up on the screen. Raheem is going to conduct the lightning round. The prize is you will get to tell all the audience how they can get tickets to this fundraiser and support the RHNA. Rod, the floor is yours for the lightning round. Let's go.
Okay, and for the audience, we didn't tell her what this was, so that's why she like that. Okay, are you ready? Ready
or not?
All right, Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Okay. Bachata or merengue?
Merengue.
Okay. Baseball or soccer?
Soccer. I know.
Okay.
I like soccer.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sancocho or mofongo?
Ooh, I love them both. Mofongo.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Tostones or yuca fry?
Ooh. Tostones.
All right.
I love yuca fries though. I do.
All right. Okay. Let me see here. Where's the other one? Okay. Coffee or tea?
Don't kill me, my Hispanic friends. Tea. Coffee does something. Really? I like coffee here and there, but it does something to my stomach. So tea.
No café con leche for you, huh?
No.
All right.
Very good.
Tropical beaches or mountain resorts?
Ooh. Actually, this is a tie. I love them both because my husband's from the mountains, and I learned to love the mountains. It has its beauty. So could there be a tie? Or it has to be one or the other?
Your answers. No, it's your answers. There's no right or wrong. Okay. Mango or arepas?
Mango.
Okay. Well, that concludes your lightning round. You have won your plugs. It wasn't that bad. You've won. The floor is yours. Take the next 30 seconds to 1 minute. Tell the folks what you got going on, where they can get tickets to the event. The floor is yours.
So we're having a fundraiser in Charlotte this Saturday, and the link for that is going to be on our website, www.rnhanc.org. We have Adula Lee, which we're very excited as one of our featured speakers. We have Michelle Morrow, and we're working on another speaker. But all of the proceeds go for printing materials, buying his Spanish constitutional booklets, helping the chapters on their mission, helping candidates with translation, and also helping them go out and get out the vote. So we'd appreciate you if you're not able to get to the event, if you can just donate. We have a sponsorship link also on our website that you can click on and donate. All that money, again, goes for Hispanic outreach. So we're very excited about it this Saturday from 6 to 8. Very exciting speakers and relevant. We need Michelle in there. We need Abdul in there. So we're going to do everything we can to get the Hispanics acquainted with these guys.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with Sandy Moyer with the Republican Hispanic National Assembly here in North Carolina. Got to give a big shout out to Paul Rodriguez on the check-in, the Republican Hispanic National Assembly up in New York, the RNHA in New York, showing some love. Shouts out to them. This has been a very special episode of the Urban Conservative Podcast. I look forward to seeing you in Charlotte on Friday at the event. And make sure you give us a like, share, follow, subscribe for my twin brother over there, that guy, Raheem Architect Soto. I'm Abdul Ali. That's Sandy over there. This has been the Urban Conservative Podcast. Peace and love, y'all.
Doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.